Okay, so we live in this massive interconnected world, right? Well, every single smart device, your watch, your fridge, the sensors in a factory, is a potential door for an attacker. Today, we're going to break down how artificial intelligence is becoming our digital immune system. And honestly, it might be the only real defense we have against a whole new generation of threats to the Internet of Things.
$70 million. Just take a second and let that number sink in. What in the world could cost that much? It's not a new skyscraper. It's not a fleet of jets. Nope. It's the cost of one single security failure.
Yeah, that was the bill for the industrial giant North Hydro back in 2019 after they got hit with ransomware. And we're not just talking about some stolen customer data here. The attackers went after their connected industrial systems, all their IoT stuff, and it literally forced this massive global company back to using pen and paper.
Look, the Norsk Hydro attack, that wasn't some freak accident. It was a massive warning shot for everyone. It's really just a symptom of a much, much bigger problem. The IoT security crisis. Why? Because our digital attack surface is just getting wider and wider every single day. And if you want to talk about speed, just look at this. We're seeing a 400% surge in attacks on IoT devices in just the last 2 years. 400%. This isn't some far-off what-if threat. It is happening right now, and it is growing at an absolutely exponential rate. So what's fueling this fire? It's the sheer scale of it all. By 2025, it's predicted that we're going to have over 55 billion IoT devices online around the world. Every smart camera, every factory robot, every sensor, it's another potential way in for an attacker.
And this is exactly why the old ways of doing security just don't work anymore. You've got what's called device sprawl, just millions of new entry points popping up. Then you have firmware that pretty much never gets updated, leaving it wide open. There's no standardization, so every manufacturer is doing their own thing. And of course, there's good old human error. It's a perfect storm of vulnerabilities.
So how on earth do you defend something this chaotic? Well, you have to fight fire with fire. You fight code with smarter code. You fight automation with better automation. And that's exactly where AI comes in. Not just as another tool, but as a completely new way of thinking about security.
The big idea here is something called real-time anomaly detection. Now, this is the really cool part. Instead of looking for a known bad guy, like a virus it already has a mugshot for, the AI learns the unique digital heartbeat of every single device on your network. It figures out what's normal behavior, and then it watches for absolutely anything that breaks that pattern, no matter how small.
So let's make this real. Imagine a simple sensor in a factory. All of a sudden, it tries to ping a server in a country it's never talked to before. The AI sees that, instantly flags it and blocks it. Or what if a smart water meter suddenly starts uploading 10 times its normal amount of data? The AI flags it for inspection immediately. It's these tiny behavioral clues that a human, who's probably drowning in alerts anyway, would almost definitely miss. But, finding the problem is only half the battle. In these situations, speed is everything, and this is where AI is a total game changer. It doesn't just find the problem, it acts instantly. The second an anomaly is detected, the AI can automatically throw that suspicious device into quarantine, cutting it off from the rest of the network so an attack can't spread. Then the security team gets an alert that doesn't just say, "Hey, we have a problem." It says, "Hey, here was the problem, and by the way, we've already contained it for you."
What this all means is that we're making a huge shift in our security posture. We're moving away from being reactive, cleaning up the mess after the damage is done, to being proactive and even predictive.
204 days. Get this. According to IBM, that's the average time it takes a company to find and contain a data breach using the old methods. That's almost 7 months. Can you imagine an intruder just wandering around your network completely undetected for 7 months? It's crazy.
Now, let's compare that 204-day nightmare to what AI brings to the table. We're talking proactive threat prevention, stopping attacks before they can even get started. It slashes all those annoying false positive alerts that drive security teams crazy. It scales up effortlessly as your network grows. And this is the most important part. It's an adaptive defense. It actually learns from every new attack it sees, getting smarter and stronger over time.
I just love this quote because it is the absolute perfect way to think about this. An AI security system is like a digital immune system for your tech. It learns to recognize what's you, what belongs. It identifies foreign invaders, and then it develops antibodies to neutralize them, remembering that threat so it's ready the next time. It's brilliant.
Okay, so let's get real for a minute. Building this kind of digital immune system,
isn't as easy as just flipping a switch. Of course not. Like any really powerful technology, AI has its own set of very real challenges and limitations that we have to talk about.
I mean, for an AI to learn, it has to see a ton of data, which brings up huge privacy and compliance issues. The horsepower needed to run these systems can get really expensive. The AI itself can actually be tricked by sophisticated attackers. And, trying to plug this futuristic tech into a bunch of old legacy systems, yeah, that can be a massive headache.
But the good news is, people are actively working on solving these problems. The evolution of AI security is moving just as fast as the threats are. So let's take a quick peek at what's just over the horizon.
We're starting to see amazing things like federated learning. That's basically a way for the AI to learn without ever having to see your sensitive, raw data, which is a huge deal for privacy. Then there's explainable AI, or XAI, which kind of opens up the AI's black box so we can actually understand why it made a certain decision. And we're even getting ready for the next big threat, quantum computers, with new kinds of AI-powered encryption.
You might also be wondering, hey, what about blockchain? Well, it's important to know they aren't competitors. They're actually powerful allies. The easiest way to think about it is this. AI is the smart brain that detects threats and decides what to do. Blockchain is the unchangeable ledger that proves who's who and what's what, making sure no one can tamper with the records.
And that really brings us to the most important question of all. We live in a world where the bad guys are constantly learning, adapting, and automating their attacks. A defense that just sits there, static and unchanging, is basically a sitting duck. So the question you really have to ask yourself is this: is your security learning, or is it just waiting to get hit?